Hi, I'm Peter Schriemer. One of my absolute favorite places here at the Creation Museum is Dr. Crawley's Insectorium. This is an impressive collection with hundreds of insects from all over the world. What some people don't realize is that Dr. Crawley is a real person. His real name is Crawley, he really is a doctor, and this really is his collection. And today, we get to go meet the man himself. So I hope you're ready for an adventure. Here we go. Earlier this year, Dr. Crawley invited me to join him on an adventure in Alabama to find some of the biggest beetles in North America. Our destination was Lake Guntersville State Park. So here we are with the famous Dr. Crawley. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Now, can you explain to us why we're here at Lake Guntersville looking for beetles?
Turns out to be the best place I've found, and it seems to have the best combination of a very well-lit facility, high up on a hillside surrounded by lots of old forest.
So how are we going to be looking for the beetles tonight?
Very simply walking the grounds to the areas that are well lit that attract them, but carrying a very bright flashlight so that we can find them in any corners or under things where they might be trying to hide from us.
Dr. Crawley has been coming to this place for years, and every year is different. Beetle hunting always takes careful observation and lots of patience. Look at that.
Oh yeah, that's a big one and beautiful. He's got a really large top horn too. Look at that.
Man.
And the color's just really bright. He's a keeper for sure.
Finding these beetles was a ton of fun, and I was ready to sit down with Dr. Crawley to learn more. Well, I'm really excited to take a closer look at some of the beetles that we came here to see here at Lake Guntersville. But first, I want to ask you, why do you love beetles so much?
The relationship between these variations and the specific structures and the way the insect lives and uses these structures, so that form and function really is fascinating to me. They also lend themselves to the adventure of the hunt.
Yes.
You know, some people like fishing, but this is so much more fun because when you go out to the lights or on a hike or turn over a rock, it's like opening a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna find there.
Exactly.
So it just keeps you really interested. There is so many different variations on the basic blueprint of a beetle that it just always amazes me.
Well, let's take a look at some right now.
Well, the eastern Hercules beetle, he has a really nice, robust top horn. He's good size and has a really beautiful color and shininess and a very typical pattern. But the pattern of spots on them is highly individual. No two are alike. Some have huge spots that coalesce into geographic areas. Others have rows of tiny spots. The color can vary from a yellowish green to more of a bluish gray. They have these large claws at the ends of their legs, and you can see how thick their legs are. They grow as grubs, as all beetles do, most often it seems inside of hollow trees. Then when they're an adult, they eat very little, but if they can, scavenge fruit or sap from a injured tree, they will feed on that too. So this is a very large forest, a lot of old trees, so undoubtedly a lot of large hollow trees are out there. We had a really lot of luck finding 3 males and 1 female in one night. That seemed to be because the weather was ideal.
Gotcha. Now you have a male with you, but you also have a female in there, don't you?
Yes. And this is a perfect opportunity to demonstrate the difference between the two. First of all, the absence of horns on the female. They also tend to not be as brightly colored. Similarly, they have those spots, and each one's a little bit different than the other among females, just like the males are different from each other.
Well, and that's one of the variety of differences that we see with beetles is sometimes the males and the females look almost exactly identical. Other times they look like entirely different species. And in this case, that's a little bit of each, where the female does definitely look distinctly different from the male, but you can tell that they are part of the same kind.
Yeah, but they're really cool looking at.
Today, we got to meet Dr. Crawley, the man behind the Insectorium. And we got to see some impressive Hercules beetles up close. God has made so many different types of beetles, and they're all important parts of his creation. Spending time with Dr. Crawley reminds me how important it is to ask questions and to learn from the people that God places in our lives. So now it's your turn to hike out into creation and seek our loving Creator. I'll see you next time.